Yeah, we're live.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Just doing a little house cleaning here, real quick.
We'll get the retweets going. CK's here.
Okay. All right. Let's start the show. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Yankees Pod, sponsored by Lukash Entertainment. Lukash, what's going on today, brother?
I'm very honored to be back here. It's been a long time, and we got some dogs. You can't really. We got dogs here. We're ready.
I thought you were talking about the dogs ready to come in and talk some New York Yankees baseball as well.
We have a lot of
Boogie in the
dogs.
chat. We're gonna have Chris CK in the chat. We're gonna get the other Chris in the chat. We're gonna talk Yankees baseball for next hour. Let's start at the very beginning and shout out to everybody who's in the chat. Let's start with the most recent news. Jazz Chisholm Jr. is now a New York Yankee. Batted 249 and this year, 13 home runs, has a career OPS of 749. A necessary move for the New York Yankees, who are still waiting on Giancarlo Stanton and Jason Dominguez to get back, but we'll get more on that. Just immediate thoughts are that they need to get better at a few positions. And, many people were saying, oh, Jazz is going to play second base and, Gleyber Torres might be out the window. But we see tonight, Chisholm is in center field, batting fifth, peculiarly enough. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are on Lukash, and then we're going to bring in Boogie to get his thoughts on the Jazz Chisholm trade too.
Jazz Chisholm, I mean, I know they were trying to get him. I saw tweets last week. I was getting myself familiar. I'm watching the replays. I'm looking at his Instagram. I'm trying to get myself hyped up. But I didn't want to get too hyped up because I know the Yankees, they like to edge us. Remember, like Joey Gallo, there was rumors of that. But then you will get a trade from out of nowhere like Anthony Rizzo a couple years ago. A lot of random trades from Frankie Montas. Brian Cashman has been all over the place. So, and this Jazz Chisholm move kind of shows that they're not really done yet. But Gleyber Torres, him icing the game for us basically yesterday, love that for him, and I love that for us because that boosts his trade value. I was hoping maybe we would have seen something happen before the game tonight revolving relief pitching because I know we're shot. Last game and the past couple games, we've killed our pen. They were talking about bringing in Weaver yesterday on the Fox broadcast. It's kind of crazy right now. So a lot of moves that still need to be done. So it's exciting time right now. I love the trade deadline.
Yeah. All right, let's bring in Boogie. I don't know.
Go.
It's Adam's Adam's the stage. There he is. Boogie, what's going on,
Boogie
bro?
down.
Not much, Lukash. Jimmy, thanks for having me on tonight. I'm looking forward to it. The Jazz Chisholm's kind of caught me off guard. I was kind of wondering if you're going to go to second base. Then I heard third base today. And then now we see him in center field, which is an upgrade, I guess, from putting Grisham out there. And I think it gets us a better bat in the lineup. I'm apprehensive on it a little bit because of all the stuff that was talked about back in Miami days. Hopefully they're behind him. I mean, Aaron Judge has a good way of keeping the clubhouse tight. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it, though. It's very exciting. But like Lukash just said, is it a teaser and we don't get anything after this? But we do have Dominguez and Stanton coming back, so that'll be good.
Yeah, and Chisholm is under control till 2027 now. So maybe this is a move for next year as well. The year's, Gleyber Torres, whether or not he gets dealt in the next 2 days, I don't personally think I think he's on this team because, like what we saw, we have so many holes in this lineup. We've had Jahmai Jones and J.D. Davis. Thank God J.D. Davis got DFA today. But Jahmai Jones and J.D. Davis were getting serious at bats. So, if Gleyber Torres is getting at bats playing second base or DHing, that's perfectly fine. I think gets frustrating when you have, guys like LeMahieu and Jahmai Jones in the lineup. So yeah, I think this is addition by addition, adding Chisholm, and I don't think this necessarily means anything for Glaber because we have a lot of guys still to come back. So yeah, go ahead, Lukash.
Also, just want to point out, just getting to see this now, it looks like Chisholm's going to wear number 13.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, look at that.
He's going to wear A-Rod's number.
We're going to be 2 number 13s deep since A-Rod. Because now I got Gallo and then Chisholm. So
yeah. All right. I mean, listen, it worked out once really well with A-Rod, and once awfully with Joey Gallo. So yeah, we'll
see if they hop.
Yeah, and we got somebody else on. We got CK.
Let's get CK
on the stage. CK, why don't you switch your phone like that so then I'll think it will.
No, that ain't working.
It's not working. Whatever. All right. What are your thoughts? CK's in the building. Shout out to CK. Honestly, I want to just say one of the biggest Giants fans I know. Absolutely out of training camp. What are your thoughts on the whole Chisholm trade and what this team is doing going forward?
I mean, what's there not to like? We gave up basically little. Augustus Ramirez and 2 other prospects, and Augustus Ramirez was never going to crack this roster with Austin Wells producing. So what's that? I mean, it was a win-win for the Yankees, and plus we got a perfect leadoff hitter who could hit and is super athletic, can play multiple positions. It's a win for the Yankees. Not much to hate.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we all like the trade. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. Augustin Ramirez hit 20 home runs in the minors. Looks like an absolute stud, but we also have a stud in Austin Wells. And, hopefully Austin Wells is going to be the guy that's playing baseball for the Yankees for the next 8 years. Dustin Paisley has chimed in and saying DJ has to go. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Everybody knows how I feel about Oswaldo Cabrera. I'm not that high on Oswaldo Cabrera, but Oswaldo Cabrera and DJ LeMahieu are night and day. And so, I mean, Oswaldo has to start at third base if the option is DJ LeMahieu or Oswaldo Cabrera. So I tend to agree there. And yeah, I know that everybody in here feels the same way about DJ LeMahieu at this point. He's old. He's still owed $15 million a year in 2025 and 2026. But at what point do you cut ties? You pull Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks and just give him the man his money and let him go off the pasture.
It could be deeper than that too, to the point where maybe it could be locker room chemistry kind of thing. He's been here since before COVID. If you look at it, he's been here since 2019. He's familiar with Boone, Judge, Stanton, all these guys. I don't know. Maybe LeMahieu's he's quiet on the outside to the public, but maybe there's something to LeMahieu we don't know.
Oh, they go to Rangers games together too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think he's injured. I think he has to go. So I'll agree with that. So the second question would be like, what does this mean for Gleyber Torres? I think Boone said in the press conference before the game that he's going to try Jazz at third base. Which would be very interesting. I don't think Gleyber can take reps over at third base. So that's just an interesting thought. But Boogie, I'll start with you. What do you think? What do you think this means for Gleyber Torres, and what would you do with Gleyber Torres right now?
Actually, I think this solidifies Gleyber Torres on this team, which I do believe we need him. Unless you're going to go after Jonathan India, but then what are you going to have to give up? If he's, but I think Gleyber's on this team. I've said it. We've kind of said it all season. The contract, he fits with the group, and anything you can get out of him, regardless of how we think that sometimes he doesn't play very well in the field, which I think that's improved. And I think his bat's coming around, right? Jimmy, you've been saying it since spring. When the weather gets hot, Gleyber heats up, and I think Gleyber has heated up. He's a big game player. As much as we get down on him, he's a really good player.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm going to let you keep going. Gleyber Torres has a .342 batting average with 13 hits, 2 home runs, 5 RBI, and 4 runs scored in 10 games in his last 10 games. So he's been, he's a weather guy. I always say it. He heats up, in July and August, and again, this lineup has so many holes that inserting Gleyber Torres batting sixth is not necessarily the worst thing. It's when he's batting, fourth or whatever, and it's like, yeah, obviously you want to lengthen out this lineup as much as you can. So, I think he does that. I think he does that for this team. But yeah, Lukash, you have any thoughts on Gleyber Torres? What this means for him?
Listen, I love Gleyber Torres so much. I've done school projects on Torres. I've been a believer. I love the guy. But listen, I think he gets a little too in his head. He goes into the season, plays under average as usual, gets benched, and now he's batting 308 in his last 20 something games. So he's a streaky guy. And so I've always hoped he could figure out his ways since remember like 2019, 2018, but I don't know. Time's running out. Now we have Jazz Chisholm for 2 years, and he can't play second base. I think this is the first time in Gleyber's career where now he's kind of having to step back and realize that, wow, my time's kind of running out now. So he's going to have to do something soon.
Yeah.
And last night was something good. So if he could build off that, then, let's go.
Yeah, it's incredible, like how much money he cost himself. Because last year, he had 24 home runs. He was poised to get $150 million. If you ask, Google or Siri how much money Gleyber Torres is going to make in the offseason, they're still saying 150. But I mean, times have changed. He's probably going to make what, 10 a year, seemingly. Or maybe,
I'll be surprised if he gets a multi-year deal at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he has a 2-year deal, a short-term contract to try to turn this around. But honestly, I'll say it. I know he's not on this team next year. But if you gave Gleyber Torres $7-8 million to come back, you never know. I know he's not gonna be here, but I'm just saying I would bargain hunt on him if I were other teams in the MLB. CK, thoughts on Gleyber? Just thoughts on him.
I think if the trade opportunity is there, the Yankees should entertain it. Because like you said, he may not be back next season, and to keep him and lose him would be like not great. But at the same time, this is like our World Series, our timetable for Judge and Coles. We don't know how long they're going to be. They're in the prime of their career, so we don't know how long they're going to be productive. And as long as Gleyber's productive, it's like World Series or bust. So, and he's a key contributor for the deep playoff run. So, it could work both ways. That's what I'm saying.
Yep, fair enough. Jason's still upset about Jimmy. These guys aren't living up to expectations, period. Yes, baseball is a long endurance season. Time for these guys to get it together. I agree with you. I'm just, I like the fact that Gleyber Torres is on the roster today. Does that mean that I want him on this team long term, especially since we have to sign Juan Soto? No, I don't think so. Speaking about guys that are going to, enter the clubhouse soon enough, hopefully, is Jason Dominguez. He's back in the lineup today for the Rail Riders, DHing and batting second. So, I'll say it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Embrace the Martian. His clock has already started, and he needs to be in the lineup. Listen, Verdugo's been playing well the past couple days, but, in his last 25 games, he's batting .210. And that's not really what you want out of your left fielder. And, he's not going to be here next year either. So I think that, whether the move is to DFA Trent Grisham, or I guess it would be Jahmai Jones first. Jahmai Jones is going to go
Grisham
now.
has one more year of control left too. Yankees won't just give that up.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting what they have to do when Stanton and Dominguez come back. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting what the Yankees are going to do. I mean, I'm scared that this Jazz Chisholm move is going to block Dominguez from coming up, but I think we would have to be insane as the Yankees organization to not bring Dominguez up when he's healthy. I don't know what we'll just do a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Thumbs up or thumbs down on bringing Dominguez into the lineup. Okay, yeah, pretty much.
We need him. We need him.
Simple as that. Yeah, let's keep it moving.
Everyone will thumbs up that one.
I don't think anybody we don't have to spend too much time on Jason Dominguez and what this guy means to this organization going forward. So, all right, Giancarlo Stanton news now. He's probably, in quotes, probably going to return ahead of the pivotal series versus the Phillies. And if I can only, I have to bring this guy in right now to talk about Giancarlo Stanton. Chris, you're on now, Chris. What's going on, brother? Yeah, let's hear what you have. Your mic's not on yet, but what thoughts on Giancarlo Stanton and the Jazz Chisholm trade? If you want to touch on that too.
World Series back on, boys. World Series is
That's
back
what
on.
it is.
You know me, I'm Mr. Optimistic here. I'm excited for John Carter to come back. I think one of the reasons why is we started to see the slump in the lineup when he went out. I've said this before. He was kind of like the gap for that top of the lineup to the bottom. And when you're missing that and you have like a Trent Grisham there or, you know, some of these other guys that weren't producing, it's just a 6-7. Yeah, so I think John Carter coming back is big. I think Jazz is a big move. I think, and I get the some of the fans who were a little negative about it, but I think
It's cutting out.
Yeah,
It's cutting out. I will get back.
It's a lineup that he's never been in. He's never been in a lineup like this. So, yeah, I think Jazz being here is a solid move. I think. Are we good? Am I good here?
Yeah, you're kind of coming in and out.
we can still hear you.
Let me see. I
I
think
still
I'm
hear you. I'll remove you and add you back in a minute. But yeah, no, I think we're all on the same page with Jazz Chisholm. Chris is the biggest Giancarlo Stanton fan, so I have to give him his time when he's back. Just make sure his connection's good. Boogie, thoughts on Giancarlo Stanton coming back? I mean, he hasn't appeared since June 22nd, since that strained hamstring, and he's batting .246 on the season with 18 home runs. I think he's a pivotal piece for this team this year. What are your thoughts on him?
I'm 100% on board with you, Jimmy, there. We saw what happened when he went down, right? He had 18 home runs, which was like second on the team or third on the team at that time. And he's still probably third on the team in home runs. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but he had 18 home runs. Beginning of the season, I had him picked for 34 home runs. I looked this up through my notes from back on their spring Yankee pods, and I had him picked for 34 home runs. He was on pace to hit that. So he's obviously, they missed his bat. The production behind, Aaron Judge and Juan Soto wasn't there. I mean, they've tried a cavalcade cast of players behind him, bat in the fourth hole, and none. Look at our production. I think it's still the worst production as a DH. So do we need him? Yeah, we definitely need him. And I'll let Chris come. Chris is back in, so we'll let him talk about his guy.
Sorry about that, boys. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. So yeah, just to finish off, Jazz has never had a lineup like this. You can't name who was around him in Miami all those years. I think with him in this type of lineup, the hype that he had coming into Miami is what we're gonna see now. And again, I'm Mr. Optimistic, so I could be wrong here. I know there was some, rumors about trouble and headache and all that, but I don't think he'll bring that here. I think Judge knowing that, having the veterans like Judge and stuff like that, Soto and everything, I think he's going to be fine. And I think he's gonna plug into this lineup perfectly. It's more speed, it's more contact. It's a lefty bat. I think somebody posted up some stats that said that he had 13 home runs on the year, but if he was a Yankee all season, he would have 19. So it just goes to show.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably, like Boogie said, that'd probably be 4th, 5th on the team right now. So yeah, I think Jazz will get to see the best of Jazz, and getting Stanton back, perfect timing, right? You're plugging in basically two new guys in the lineup again, and then again, Dominguez comes back in another week or two, give or take, depending how long it takes to rehab. That's three new guys. You're basically looking at a new lineup for this second half. So depending, obviously, hopefully the line of construction doesn't get played with too much. We can kind of keep it somewhat the same for a couple weeks just to kind of balance it out and see how it works. And if it works, let's work towards this World Series.
Remember too, when we got Verdugo, the big thing was also his attitude problems. He got benched because of his attitude last year. He didn't run out grounders like Torres, and he comes to New York. Hopefully, the captain will fix him up. And I mean, now Verdugo seems like he's having the most fun he's ever had playing baseball. So I'm pretty optimistic about Jazz Chisholm because I know he has attitude, but that means he's passionate about the game. And the fans, Yankee fans are not gonna take shit. So if he's gonna start slumping, he could have his attitude all he wants, but yeah, that media will be harsh on him. He's gonna have to reevaluate if he wants to, still play his big game. I think he needs to go into New York, humble. He's not gonna be the top guy in the team anymore, so he's gonna have to just play and see what he can do.
Yeah,
I like
Throw
it.
it out there. He's also friendly with Derek Jeter. I know, like I heard something like he still maintains a close friendship with Derek Jeter, and
He's number
also,
two.
yeah, that too. He's also friends with CC Sabathia, two athletes that succeeded here in New York. So you can lean on them to pick their brain on how to succeed in New York. So with those two leads telling him what to do, I'm confident in Jazz Chisholm.
yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, to Luke Cash's point, he's not the best player on the team anymore. In Miami, there's so much pressure there because you're this young kid who, has a lot of future and a lot of promise. He's not. He's probably the fourth best guy, fifth best guy on the team as far as talent wise. So that pressure's off his shoulders now. There's a sort of a relaxation now. Just come in here and play your game. And I get the changing of what he is, well, what he was in Miami. But I think they're gonna let him be. I think they're gonna let him, have a little bit of fun out there. I think they did it with Verdugo a little bit. They try to tame it with some of the chains and the extra stuff. But I think overall they're gonna let him be what he is. And I think that was a thought process into it as well. You don't get a kid like that without knowing, right? Like you do your due diligence. You look into all the stuff, the past stuff, and the conversations, the reports, and all that, and you kind of use that and say, you know what, we can use that. And not for nothing, real quick, and I'll end it here too. I think there's a reason why the team scored 10 runs yesterday. Knowing, you hear that news that we got a Jazz Chisholm. These guys woke up yesterday. They played the game right. We had a horrible record in extra inning games, but they won an extra inning game yesterday, which is very different. But I thought the Jazz Chisholm move was sort of like a spark, right? They knew this kid is coming. Like we got reinforcements on the way. We're probably not done either. So I thought that was I thought the clubhouse showing what they did yesterday was basically letting the world know, hey, look, we got a kid on the way. We're back. We'll be all right here.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I mean, we could also make the case, and I was saying this. Yes, I was texting my brother today. I think the balls are juiced for this series. I don't know what happens every single time we go to Fenway. It's 10-8, 8-7, 9-8, 12-3, whatever. I don't know. There's just something in the water up in Fenway, so don't be surprised. But yeah, no, it's a good point. And I mean, the fact that they have them under control till 2027 is huge. Absolutely huge. All right. I wanted to read out the lineup for tonight. Surprisingly enough, Jazz Chisholm is not batting first. The guy who is, perennially was batting first for the Marlins. But Verdugo is batting first, playing right field. Juan Soto's playing left field tonight. Aaron Judge is DHing. Austin Wells batting fourth, catching. Jazz Chisholm is playing center field, batting fifth. Gleyber Torres batting sixth, playing second base. Ben Rice batting seventh, playing first base. Anthony Volpe batting eighth, which is just nice. You see that this is the injection of Jazz made Volpe slide all the way down to eight. And then we have the better half of the night and day in Oswaldo Cabrera batting ninth with Carlos Rodon on the mound. Carlos Rodon has a record of 2-4 with an ERA of 4.05 and 51 strikeouts and 7 appearances against the Red Sox in his career. So a lot of information I just threw out there, but I'm excited to watch this team play. Buggy, throwing it to you first. How many runs are we scoring tonight?
I got us for the 2.71 ERA going against us. I'll say 5, but I'll also say, Jimmy, you were the first one that kind of, I mean, not the first one, but I talked to you probably the most on Yankee baseball earlier this season, and you always said Verdugo's our leadoff hitter, and he's getting, when he was struggling, he should have went there immediately because he was going to get better pitches for Soto, batting behind him and Judge. And I think he's the perfect guy before those guys because he is a threat. Where some of these guys you could pitch, you knew they weren't really, I don't mean to be that way, but I mean, you kind of knew that Gleyber Torres wasn't really a bona fide leadoff hitter. He just kind of took it out of spring training, probably because DJ got hurt. So I like that. I just want to touch on that Verdugo is a great leadoff, is the best option for leadoff right now. But I do have for 5 runs.
5 runs. Yeah, I mean, Tanner Hoke has a 3-2 record with an ERA of 2.06, 43 strikeouts against the Yankees. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens tonight. He's 8-6 this year with a 2.71 ERA, like you mentioned. But yeah, we talked about Carlos Rodon a little bit, but I'm just expecting another high-scoring game tonight. I mean, we'll see what happens, but yeah, hopefully Rodon, he has not played well as of late. 6.11 ERA in his last 10 games. So we'll see what Carlos Rodon's bringing to the table. CK, what are your thoughts on the lineup tonight with Jazz batting fifth? And what would you have done, and how many runs are they going to score tonight?
Rodon had a good game on Monday. I hopefully this carries over to today. I mean, we've got a huge win yesterday, so I hope they're riding that high momentum, adrenaline strikes through. I would love to see Jazz Chisholm bat leadoff, but he's batting 5th. Maybe he eases his way up to leadoff, but I'm thinking tonight they ride that high. I'm pick out Boogie 4 to 5 runs tonight.
All right. Lucas, what are you thinking?
So I went to Rodon's last start on Monday when he was pretty lights out. His first hit of the game, I think, came in like the 5th, 6th inning, and it was a home run. So I was saying he doesn't have his put away pitch, and that's what really makes or breaks his starts. He's going to be away. He's going to be in Boston. It's going to be prime time, and he doesn't have the pitching matchup in his favor. But we do have the vibes in our favor. So give me 5. I'll say the basic boring. I'll say 5 runs. But I mean, I think with the spark of Chisholm, and I hope Rodon can carry the start over, I think we'll get to Houck early, shake him up. Rodon settles in nicely, and then we get a nice 5-3 victory on ESPN tonight.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope and pray. I'm hungry. Said thoughts on Aaron Boone. I mean, if you don't know my thoughts on Aaron Boone at this point, I want him gone. I think that Alex Cora is completely outmanaged Aaron Boone. We saw it Friday night. And yeah, like, is Aaron Boone, is this roster's identity on Aaron Boone? No, he's not the general manager. But really what got me maniacally upset with him is when he batted Jahmai Jones first and JD Davis fourth on Wednesday. And that really set me off to a point where, like, I don't want him to be in charge of the lineup. I don't need him anywhere near the lineup card. Even Joe Girardi said this. He said, it was funny. He was on the Yes Network. They were talking about the game, and he was like, David Cohen asked him what he would do with, like, what was his thoughts on constructing a lineup. And he was like, he said it pretty simply. And I don't know if this was a shot at Boone or not, but he said to him, he was like, I would just leave the best hitters at the top, not try to change it too much, and see where it is. And I think that's a direct shot at Aaron Boone, who changes the lineup every single day. You know, and even Girardi was saying he didn't change the righty lefty switches. That didn't wasn't indicative of where a guy was batting. He was talking about how much routine plays into a lineup. So yeah, I've wanted Boone gone last year. Shout out to everybody in here. But yeah, no, it's time. It's time for him, and we win games in spite of Aaron Boone. And I will never feel differently about him. And yeah, I just think that I don't think he's hard enough on the players. I think he does a great job screaming at the umpire. I think he does a great job answering questions to the media. But as far as managing and, you know, X's and O's, lineup cards, I think that I don't think he does a good job. I think he does a C- job. Boogie, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I was going to elaborate on what Girardi said in that game. When you take a guy, maybe he's struggling or maybe he's not, and you move him down or up in the order, if you say if he's batting fifth and all of a sudden you drop him to eighth, what is that? What kind of message are you sending? That you don't think that he can be a better hitter? And I thought those were very, very good points by Girardi. I know it's tough when you got former managers, former players doing your color analysts like that, and guys that aren't afraid to speak their mind. I love it, and I love Girardi as an analyst because of that. And but like you said, if you jump that lineup around, guys get a comfortability with who's hitting in front of them, who's hitting behind them. And all of us, if we play baseball, have know that. And anybody that's played baseball is you know who's hitting behind you. You know how fast you got to run on balls if you got a faster guy behind you. You know what your job is. Your job changes as who's hitting in front of you and behind you. So that familiarity with the lineup makes a huge difference. And I wish, like I said, the Jahmai Jones thing, I about tapped out of the season when I saw that. I really did, guys. I was like, this is bad.
I literally thought it was somebody online posting a joke lineup. Like I triple taped at it, I quadruple taped at it. It was just kind of the breaking point for me with him. And I don't know who these people are. They must be trolls. The people that are still defending Aaron Boone, those people are worse, 20 times worse than actually Aaron Boone. But yeah, and I don't even have to say anything. I tweet out what my thoughts on that Aaron Boone are. Somebody responds to it, saying give him a chance or he's not the one doing blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. And then I have like 5 other tweeters coming to my defense. So I don't really have to really defend my take about Aaron Boone at this point. And we saw it in Alex Cora. Alex Cora just made $7 million a year. Aaron Boone makes what, $1 million a year? I think that's what he makes. I think he's making $1.5 million a year. I don't know exactly what the number is, but he's not making a lot of money to coach a team, and that's basically what
$3 million
right now is a yes man at the helm. And again, baseball isn't too crazy. Like you can win in spite of your manager, but man, oh man, I think he cost us runs on Friday. And I just think that I don't know. I don't think he is the best person to coach this team. So that's how I feel.
Let's just be glad he talks on Talking Yanks and not here, because we'd have some choice words every single time he'd go on our podcast. I don't
and I don't even necessarily think those guys do. Like, listen, those guys don't even necessarily do a bad job. They're on Yes Network now. They have to say they can't always talk indirectly about Aaron Boone. So yeah, like listen, I think I would be like, if Aaron Boone was on the show right now, I'd be like, dude, what were you possibly thinking? Like, what were you thinking? Batting our 8th and like if Brian Cashman handed you the lineup and was like, these are your 9 guys tonight, what were you thinking about bringing the 8th and 9th best guys on the lineup card that day, batting them 1st and 4th? That's
I need to know. I need to get a stat of how many times Jamie Jones, Tommy Jones. How many times has he batted leadoff in his career? Because when he was on the Orioles, he was a platooning up and down in the minors, majors. Gets
Right.
DFA'd, finds his way over to New York. And seriously, I really think that is his first time he's ever sniffed a first inning at bat in his career.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he has 1 home run in 136 plate appearances. He's a pinch runner, and he was being touted as like this guy. It made absolutely no sense. And again, Boone emphasizes too much on the lefty righty matchups. I mean, we saw Ben Rice hit a home run against a lefty. We saw Austin Wells hit a home run against a lefty. I mean, Austin Wells is just, no matter what, should be getting more at bats than Jahmai Jones every single time until infinity. So, I mean, that's really what grinds my gears about Aaron Boone, and will continue to grind my gears. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Aaron Boone, but we know that Aaron Boone's not going to get fired. As much as I tweet it, and I'm not even being negative. I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be fair with every single person. I just listen again. Great with the media. Great doing a lot of things. He is not an elite manager. He is not a good manager. He's not a very good manager. He is at best. And you know what? Actually, I can't even say it. He's not even a mediocre manager. He is a bad manager because nobody puts Jahmai Jones first and JD Davis fourth in between Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. Verdugo could have been there that day. Glaber could have been there that day. I mean, you could have sold me on even Oswaldo in there that day. But batting first is just not something that Jahmai Jones should ever do unless he's maybe playing for the Oakland Athletics or single A roster. I don't know. It's just, it insults our intelligence when he puts out a roster like that. So that's how I feel about that. All right, we have 14 minutes until game time. One other thing I wanted to touch on is the bullpen. The bullpen has been horrible and terrible. Shout out to Rich, who's in here now. We appreciate Rich. We'll get Rich on next time for sure. Yankees drastically need to improve their bullpen. There are 2 names out there that I personally think they should be looking at. One is Pete Fairbanks, 3.19 ERA, 18 saves on the season. Excuse me. I think he's an option. The other guy is Tanner Scott, 1.18 ERA on the season, 18 saves. Just an absolute hose of an arm. And listen, I think that as bad as the lineup's been, and the lineup was bad, I mean, as bad as the lineup has looked on paper, even, the bullpen has been that much worse. When you have guys like Tim Hill coming out, like these guys look like bartenders. The Yankees look like they have bartenders coming out to pitch for them. And, that's no slight to Tim Hill, but why is Tim Hill on the New York Yankees? And, honestly, it's almost as bad as like we DFA'd Victor Gonzalez. Victor Gonzalez is better than some of these guys too. So, I mean, they drastically need to improve their bullpen. And they don't need to just get 1 or 2 guys. They need a flamethrower. So they need one of these guys because Clay Holmes, love him, hate him, he cannot be closing games in October. Yeah, exactly. Hill and Tonkin look like free agent targets for Chris Hansen. Exactly. Fair enough. Yeah, so I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. I'll start with Boogie again. I would go ahead, Lukash.
I just want to say one thing before we talk too much about we go in depth about Yankees bullpen. I want to know what people think about our possibilities of getting Tanner Scott because we already made a trade with the Marlins. Why wouldn't they include him in? But I'm not saying that's never been done before. I'm saying it can be having 2 separate trades with the same team days apart. But I don't know. I like what Rich said about Kyle Finnegan. I have him on my fantasy team. Dude's lights out. Love that guy. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they need multiple arms or just the best closers out there. So we'll take what we can get. No, I actually that's exactly what I was thinking before when I wrote down the name Tanner Scott, because yeah, maybe it was like, hey, you scratch my back here, we'll think about like I think the Marlins, like a guy like Augustin Ramirez he's perfect for the Marlins. He's under control for the next so many years. It was a perfect move for the Marlins. And yeah, like maybe I don't know how the price tag on Tanner Scott looks. I think they're going to want one of the best guys. I'm not trading Spencer Jones for a reliever. I'm just not doing that. But the Yankees do need to add a reliever, and that if that's getting rid of one of their other guys, basically anybody's on the table not named Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones. And I've heard even Spencer Jones has been mentioned in trade talks. But yeah, I think they drastically they just need to improve the bullpen because, the Yankees were up, 6-3 when Aaron Judge hits the home run, or 6-4. And we knew that game was not over for a second. Friday night, we knew it was going to be a long game. So, yeah, I think they need to upgrade at bullpen. Boogie, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I like the Pete Fairbanks thing. I do like Finnegan too. I think they've moved on from Scott. I just do. And we have Jack Neely down there in the minors, a guy that Dane's put me on to, and I like him. I think he should be added at some point this season. But yeah, we do need help. Luke Weaver looks like we talked about Luis Heel looking like his arm's tired. I think Luke Weaver's arm's tired. And I said this to in spaces before. You watch Luke Weaver pitch. He's all arm, guys, when he throws. It's barely any load on his back leg. And I said that he would be the next guy to go down with an arm injury because he does not load up on his back leg. I know pitching's different. People tell me that every day. You're too old, Boogie. But pitching, one thing about pitching that hasn't changed is you need strong legs. I'm not saying that he doesn't have strong legs. I said he's got really thin legs and he doesn't use them. And I think his arm is tired. So we definitely need bullpen help, really bad. And I would go with either Pete Fairbanks would be my number one choice because I think he's pitched in New York. Whether we like, you know what I mean? He's a big market. He's a small market guy that's got big market stuff. That's why I see Pete Fairbanks.
Yeah, I agree. I want him. I just don't give us like the random names. We can't use random names right now. We need a legitimate dog, and just the loss of Loizaga kills us. And it's crazy. Like Tommy Kahnle right now might be our best reliever, and I that's scary to say. That is scary to say. The chat's talking about. Listen, I saw somebody. I don't know who said it, but somebody said that they will buzz their head.
One.
Rodon gives up less than 3 runs tonight.
Yeah, Carter Robinson. We got your full government name.
All right, Carter Robinson. If he gives up less than 3 runs tonight, he has to buzz his head. I know
is all live. It's all live, Carter Robinson. We all got this.
Carter's a huge Yankees Pod Spaces guy. He's been on plenty of times, so I'm sure that he'll live up to it.
Hope so.
So we'll see.
Caught in 4K.
But yeah, Carter's won a T-shirt before, so we'll see what happens tonight. I think that Carter's hair is safe too, but positive vibes, I guess, as we head into the last few minutes of Yankees Pod. All right, I'm going to swing it around the room. I'll give you guys an opportunity to talk on whatever you want. If you have something you want to touch on before we leave, I'll start with you, Lukash. Any final thoughts?
I just hope that we make the right according moves. I saw before I went to work today, Yankees and Dodgers were in a bidding war with Paredes, and then he ends up going to the Cubs. What load of barnacles is that? So I don't know what to trust. I don't know what to see out there. So I'll see a tweet about Chisholm possibly going to the Yankees. A week later, he does. We could hear a whole bunch of stuff that could all just be fake. I just hope whatever happens is in the benefit of the New York baseball Yankees. Fuck Aaron Boone, and I just want a positive game, win the series against the Boston Red Sox in Fenway. That'll be huge momentum to possibly leverage ourselves to, I don't know, even bigger trades. I hope Glaber does good to boost his stock. I just hope everything goes well. We need a good start from Rodon too. That's that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you said a lot. Shout out to Captain Jack, who's in here as well in the chat. Appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. And again, I don't know if Gleyber Torres is going to be traded or not, but we will see in the next few days. And yeah, Empire State of Baseball, great stuff, boys. Let's make sure this is a thing week in and week out. Love seeing your faces besides talking over Twitter. Yeah, we're going to be moving more to YouTube, doing this weekly whenever the guys can just get on, whether it's a Sunday night, a Wednesday night. We're going to try to do this at least once a week. Yeah, so shout out to everybody in here. Appreciate you guys. Chris, final thoughts. CK, final thoughts.
I just want to say, whatever free agent signing you do, hopefully it's in the best interest to keep Juan Soto long term. Don't overpay for a guy. Make sure a big contract for a guy, and let's beat Boston. It's been a terrible June and July. We need some wins. It's World Series or bust. Like we're in the like I said before, we're in the prime careers of Aaron Judge, Garrett Cole. Get these guys a ring. We need that. We need a ring.
Cool. Boogie, final thoughts.
Well, first of all, I'll say, Jimmy, thanks and Lukash, TK, everybody, thanks for welcoming me into the Yankees pod family. It's been a great ride with you guys, and yeah, let's do this. Whether or not Saturday night, Sunday nights, whatever work best for me. Let's do this every week. I love it. It's been a great time. But my final thought is we survived. I believe we survived. What are we, 2.5 back now going into tonight's game behind the Orioles? So let's get the win tonight. We got our best pitchers going tomorrow in Philly, or this week early in Philly. So yeah, let's get the wins. Let's start stacking some wins up. And you know what, guys? It's all right in front of us. It's all right in front of us.
It's right in front of us. All right. Yeah. No, appreciate everybody in the chat. Again, we're going to make this a weekly thing, definitely going forward. And yeah, we're gonna be bringing up not just 4 people. We're gonna bring up 5 people, 6 people, 7 people, 8 people, 9, 10, 11. The people that are on Yankees Pod all the time on Twitter Spaces. And yeah, Buck Fawson, forever. Let's get a W tonight. We desperately need it. Shout out everybody and
good luck, Carter.
Good luck, Carter.
It's all recorded, buddy. It's all.
Oh, there it is. So yeah. Yeah, it's right in front of us. And, most importantly, as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline, hug your girl, not your prospects. Let's have a great night. All right. Peace.